Hello, San Diego. Thanks for joining us here on CBS 8 Plus. I hope you've enjoyed the past couple days. In fact, the last 3 days, we've had some really nice weather. We're looking at a big change in our forecast. That's why you see this red here. The weather headlines are strong winds, heavy rain, and multiple storms back to back, and maybe even a third storm waiting in the wings. So the weather impact is this. Starting Tuesday, very early in the morning, we could see heavy rain, the first of two definite storms over the next 4 days, and that could produce flooding in low-lying areas, among many other things. So we've got a flood watch for much of the county west of the mountains, and then once you get up into the mountains, we have a winter storm watch. So snow levels are going to get down to about, say, 6,500 feet. And then eventually, as the storm core moves over the top of us, the colder air will filter in, and then we could see it drop down to about 5,500 feet. So that's why we've got a winter storm watch out there. Here's a look at how the rain comes in. We're going to see it come in on Tuesday, heavy at times in the early morning hours, and then again in the afternoon, evening. A break on Wednesday will stay showery here and or there, some sun, some clouds, rain, and then the next storm really comes in. That's where we're going to see the snow make its way into Southern California. That will bring as much as 6 inches of snow above 5,000 feet in the San Bernardino and San Gabriel Mountains. They're going to see a little bit more snow than us because they've got higher peaks up there around 8,000. And then we start to see things dry out as we get into the weekend. Current temperatures, it's a lovely evening here in San Diego as we wrap up the first full day of daylight saving time. Yesterday it began, but it wasn't a full day. You know, we set our clocks back at 2 a.m. in the morning if you were up that early. However, we're looking at some really nice conditions as the sun is setting here, and we're in the mid to upper 60s in the inland areas. A big change for tomorrow as far as daytime highs. We'll struggle to get into the upper 50s as the clouds and the rain move through and the colder air makes its way into San Diego. This first storm doesn't look to bring snow. It's after that, when the colder air comes in from that second storm, that's when we'll see the snow make its way into Southern California. As we said, the clouds starting to roll in. This is a live shot from Mount Soledad, so you can see the cloud cover making its way in. The winds have switched to the south-southwest, 64 degrees right now. As far as we look across the southwest, I mean, Palm Springs, 81, 84 in Phoenix. You're like, really? There's a storm. Yeah, it's sitting right offshore, and it's going to be moving in. Look how warm it is up in the Mammoth area. However, by Thursday, and this is before the big storm comes in, they could see 2 to 3 feet of snow at the higher elevations. The storm poised just offshore. It's what we call a closed low or a cutoff low. The jet stream to the north of us, this low is sagging. As the high pressure moves out of the region, which brought us our beautiful weather, that's going to allow this storm to come on shore. And as it does, we'll see widespread rain across Southern California into the Sierra Nevada. This storm moves into the Pacific Northwest. As this storm exit allows this storm track to come in, and this second storm, it has all the components. It's got the jet stream, the cold air, and the moisture, and an atmospheric river streaming out into the Pacific. So that is going to make for a very potent, active weather pattern as we make our way into the weekend. You can see the showers lingering as we move into Friday, and then Saturday we dry out a little bit as weak ridge of high pressure moves into the region, and there's that third storm. That one is way out there, obviously 7 days from now. So it's a little bit hard to forecast something like that. There's your winds. They're going to kick up throughout the overnight into the early morning hours. So by just before sunrise, 4 to 6 a.m., we'll see some very strong winds out of the south as this front starts to make its way on shore. You can see the circulation around this, and then eventually as that storm comes on shore, we see those winds kick up, and then Thursday is that next storm. Some very powerful winds over the mountains and deserts. Here's how we see things overnight into the early morning hours. By 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, the showers sitting just offshore. They swing through very quickly. The first core of the storm comes on shore, and that'll be between, say, 2 and 4 a.m. As things move on throughout the day, the heavier rain comes in the afternoon. This storm will bring anywhere from 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch, possibly more on the west and southwesterly facing slopes. You'll notice everything is coming in from the southwest. That storm kicks kicks on out. We see the break in the action on Wednesday, and then the next storm starts to make its way in by the time we get to Thursday. So here's the first storm as it makes its way in. You can see anywhere from like a half to maybe an inch of rain, and as I said, those southwesterly locations will see heavier rain. Then watch what happens as this second storm comes in. It really fills in, and we see heavy rain, 2+ inches over the mountains. Palomar Mountain could see some pretty good amounts of rain, and snow levels on that pulse, that storm, could get down to about 4,500 feet. So for the first storm, not a whole lot of chance for snow in our mountains, but heavy rain along the coast and inland, then a break in the action. The second storm really brings in a lot of energy, and then we start to dry out a little bit as we get into Friday and Saturday. Sunday looking pretty good. Over the mountains, we're going to have to wait and see how much cold air filters in. Right now, it's just at that snow level of about 5,000 feet. Hopefully we'll get some cold air and we'll get some snow one more time in the mountains here, and we can get out there and enjoy it. Even rain out into the deserts, possibly a quarter to a half an inch out of this, and then everyone starts to dry out by the weekend. That's a look at your weather.